Welcome back to part 3 of Great Dog of the North's build video of the King Hauler. I just completed step 33. Now in the instructions they show us the assembly of these 3 sub-assemblies. This is the all of these combined are considered the mechanism deck. This component here normally has the radio, the receiver switch. Let me put a little light on the subject here. There we go. So this is normally where the receiver switch goes, but because I'm adding the multifunction unit to this model, the multifunction unit has its own on and off switch. So we're not using the standard receiver switch area here. And we have this little arm. I'm not sure what that goes to yet. They haven't showed it to us. The second component is where, when you build the normal model, I don't know if you can see this clearly. There we go. These are where the seats go inside the cab. But because we're going to put the speaker in here, and it's probably going to rest on this, the stands for the seats don't go here. In fact, I may even have to take these little pieces of plastic off to make the speaker sit flush. Well, I'm going to try not to do that because I don't want to modify this any more than I have to. So we're going to see if we can get the speaker to sit on there even with those pieces there. And finally, the last sub-assembly they had us put together here is the battery bay, and it's got these little arms that hold the battery in. And they swing over, and there are little pins that go in these screws to hold it in place. Now in the next step, 34, these 3 sub-assemblies and some other stuff actually get mounted to the chassis, and I'll be back to show you what that stuff looks like when it's installed in the truck. Alright, thank you. I'll be back. At the end of step 34, I have assembled all of the sub-components for what they're calling the mechanism deck. That's this plate here, the battery box and platform, and the platform for where the seats will go. Now, in later steps, when I put together the multifunction unit, these 4 screws that are holding this plate on will have to come off, and this step right here, these running boards, this will have to come off, and the control for the multifunction unit will get attached here. So these 4 screws will have to come off, and the 4 that are holding this running board will have to come off. But interesting, this little lever down here actually controls the hookup for, if you can see that. Let me zoom out a little bit. So this lever up here actually controls this, and there's a little lock inside there. Now this will get replaced with a servo at some point. Now it will get controlled that way. Battery will go in there. I already have the battery, so the battery will go in here. I've charged it, but I've let it sit a little bit, so I may need to recharge it. So that's the end of step 34. We have all of these 3 pieces now, sub-assemblies are now attached to the chassis. And the next step, we put the battery and the receiver in, hook up the servos, and do all of that stuff. And then we'll be able to test out the steering and and the motor and make sure everything runs, probably by step 38 or 39. And then I'll have to take some of this apart to put the multifunction unit in. So I'll have to take a break at that point in constructing this and put the multifunction unit together, and then assemble the multifunction unit to the different spots in here where it goes. The speaker will go here, the multifunction unit and the vibration control will go here, the controls on and off switch for the multifunction unit here, the receiver will go here. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all goes together. Alright, I'll be back. Welcome back. Well, an interesting thing happened on the way to step 34. I put the mechanism deck into onto the truck body, but the next couple of steps involve setting up the receiver and the servos and everything. And since I'm using the multifunction unit, it looked like I really had to put that stuff together before I could go on to the next step. So I assembled the parts for the multifunction unit. This is the speaker that goes inside the truck, and I had to curiously they did not provide that little hole for the speaker wire to come out, so they have you cut that out. So I used a pair of clippers and did that. The other thing, this is the vibration unit right here. This is part of so there's a little motor here and there's a weight inside, and that gets mounted to this control plate here where the battery goes, but they didn't provide holes for this. So I had to make the holes. I had to mark it out with a Sharpie, and the instructions show this unit being mounted right up against the battery box, just like this. So the next step is I'm going to put this back in the truck. Obviously I took it out so that I could put these pieces together and get them on there the way they're supposed to. And finally, this is the control box for the multifunction unit. Oh, this is upside down. So, oh look, I've assembled it upside down. I'm going to have to take it apart. This is the power button right here, and this is the volume for the sound and everything. So this has got to come off and go down here, and then this whole unit gets assembled to the chassis, and I'll come back when I have all of those parts in there. So this is the control box for the multifunction unit, reassembled the correct way. Now the important thing here is because that control board is mounted right up front inside here, you're going to want to find these cables. There's 3 cables that come from the control box to the multifunction unit. You want to get those cables, you want to get these cables on that board before you put this in the truck. And these cables plug into the multifunction unit over here, and we'll show you that in a later step. Alright, I'm going to put these components in the truck, and I'll be back to show you the final assembly. Alright, so I've installed the multifunction unit control box into the chassis along with the vibration unit here. And I also took, because the speaker needs to sit here and it wants to sit flush, I have removed the seat stands that were here, and I sanded them down so that it was absolutely flat. And I've got the battery on the charger, so pretty quickly in the next step the receiver gets installed here, and the multifunction unit up here, and Then we hook up some cables and we can try to operate the truck and make sure that the motor and the steering and everything work the way they're supposed to. And that's going to be steps 35 and 36. Okay, welcome back. I've got the multifunction unit installed. The vibration unit's here, radio. I still have to tie off the radio. There's a little clip with a few other things, but I wanted to try it out and see how everything worked. And I'm very pleased with the result. So I'm going to turn everything on now and let you have a little sample of so that's the sound of the truck. I don't know if you can see the steering moving up here. There it is. Turn this over so you can see it. So on to the next steps. Now that this bad boy is working, next steps are putting wheels and things like that together, and I will come back with those steps complete. We'll see you then. Eventually we'll have this thing running. Welcome back. Steps 35, 36, 37, and 38 all have to do with the adjustment of the servos and trimming them out for steering and for shifting. And step 39 is all about putting together the wheels. Which brings me to a very important subject. When you are going to build a kit like this, it's always important, and I know you hear this all the time, to read the instructions carefully ahead of time, make sure you have everything you need. I thought that I had enough super glue for the wheels. You have to super glue the wheels. Once you put them together, you got to put a little super glue on there to make sure that the tires don't spin. You want them stuck to the hubs. And I thought I had enough super glue, but this last little bit that I had, which should have been enough, is hard as a rock. So I had to go out to the store and get some more. But in step 39, we put together the two front wheels, and we put together the 4 sets of rear wheels. These things are pretty studly, and the glue keeps the rubber tire from spinning on the wheels, and they're all in there. And each tire, each package of tires here, there's 2 hubs in here that are screwed together with these amazingly little cap screws. Yeah, just like this little guy right there. So there's 3 of those, and there's nuts on the back side. And then these will actually go on the truck in step 41. In step 40 we put together some stuff for the fenders, the bumpers, and I'll be back when I complete that step. But I have to admit, I'm really anxious to see these wheels on the truck, and now that you've heard it running, maybe we can drive it around a little bit without the body. The next bunch of steps are about finishing the body, and we'll take care of that. I'm going to enlist some help from professional body guys to paint the body, and I've got some special paint here. It's Tamiya. I didn't go with the red stock color. I went with metallic blue. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll get back to you then. Bye for now. At the end of step 40, we have completed the assembly of 2 bumpers. Putting these red lenses in, the yellow, putting the license plate stickers on, and screwing these black boxes on the back. I have a feeling that these black boxes are probably going to have to come off when we put the lights on. But that's for another step. So this is the front bumper, and it has 2 clear lenses and the 2 license plates. Okay, the next step, 41, big deal, big step. Ooh, we put the wheels on with the bearings, and we also put the bumpers on. So I'll be back when that step's completed, and I'll probably post this video after I do that step. Okay, so at the end of step 41, we have assembled the rear bumper to the chassis. We've installed the rear wheels. We have also, I'm going to turn this around. Boy, this is big and heavy. We've installed the front bumper and the front wheels, and ooh, I think I'll fire it up again. I think I'll just turn it on and let the camera roll, and we'll get a look at the wheels turning. I also, in one of the earlier steps, I soldered this little connector onto the end of the antenna wire, because that's going to bolt to the cab. This is just so cool. That just sounds so cool. Alright, so I'm going to lift up the back end here a little bit, give it a little gas. And we don't have any motion on our wheels. What's going on? Looks like I don't have all the wheels installed correctly here. No. Alright, so I've got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what's going on here with the wheels. I'll be back. I'm not sure if I had the camera turned on during that last bit. I got the wheels going, and the deal was that they were too tight. And now they run. I'm going to show you a low speed. The shifting works and the steering works. So in the next episodes, we're going to work on the body and complete that and paint that and get that set up, and we'll be back. As always, like this video please and subscribe to my channel. Oh, I did run into one problem with the installation. I had to actually swap out one of the servos because the connector on the end of the servo would not plug into the multifunction unit. It would not seat properly up here in the multifunction unit. So I had to take the time to take out the old servo, this one, and put a new one in and get that one all trimmed and set up. But now everything's running, the wheels are going, and before long we'll have this truck finished and we'll have it running around. Probably I'll drive it in the garage a little bit because it's a little big for driving around the house. See you next time. Thanks for watching.